What's going on? How's it going? Boxing community, greetings and salutations. Salute, man. I hope everybody's doing great today. It's a Monday, depending on the time zone that you're in. It's probably afternoon, evening-ish, maybe. Maybe it's the morning also. Whatever time it is, I just want to greet you guys and, talk a little bit about some boxing, talk a little boxing, my post-fight reactions on a couple fights over the weekend. Not necessarily just the weekend, Friday also, right? Saw some fights on Friday. I'm sure you guys tuned in. I think it was in the zone, on the undercard of Daniel Jacobs and Gabe Rosado. And, first and foremost, before we start, I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody's doing well today. I hope everybody, you're taking care of yourselves, you and your loved ones, you know what I mean? Dangerous times we're living in. So I hope everybody's great. You know what I'm saying? Love you guys, man. The boxing community, you guys are awesome, and I just, I have so much fun just getting together, watching you guys, in the chat, in the sections, comment, opinionate, concerning topics that we talk about. So I don't necessarily want to talk too much really at all. I don't think, as far as, it depends on you guys, you know what I'm saying, and who jumps in the building and things of that nature. But, thanks for tuning in after, if anybody's going to tune in after the live, you know what I'm saying. But I don't want to talk about too much about Gabriel Rosado and Daniel Jacobs. I do want to talk about one of the fights in the undercard, as you guys can see in the thumbnail. And for those, new subscribers, man, I appreciate you guys all, subscribers who have been with me since day one, all the day ones. Man, I thank you guys so much, man. It's for your support, man. Love it. Love chopping it up with all you guys. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys so much. Like I said, I don't really want to talk about Gabe Rosado and Daniel Jacobs because I think everybody knows what it is, right? No reason to elaborate much on that fight. So, but I do want to talk about, in this live session, a little bit about Nikita. White chocolate. Okay, I'm not the best at pronouncing names, last name. So white chocolate, definitely that young kid, man. Middleweight division, good stuff right there, man. Very interesting stuff, So I do want to talk about him, in his performance against Maddox. I do want to talk about also, as you guys can see in the thumbnail, Joyce versus Triple D, Dan Dubois. So I do want to talk about that too, that matchup. Interesting stuff. Like I said, that on Friday, it was on Friday and Saturday, we saw some fights. I've been having just a ball, having so much fun, at the end of this year. End of the last quarter of boxing has just been great. It's been phenomenal. It's been fun. Also, I totally forgot about it, man. There was Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. I'm not gonna really talk about that either. I mean, it just depends on the chat and stuff like that and who jumps in and stuff like that. But I'll just be going, what I'm saying, talking about these in particular fights more than anything. But yeah, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. Just so much activity. And we got this week, this Saturday, man. Spence versus Danny. Wow, Spence. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. You see, my method works. Let me share this with you guys real quick. My method works, and this is my method. I've said it before in lives, and live sessions before. And remember, just quick, just for the new subscribers or what have you, if there are new listeners, what I do, I call this a flash live because it's out of nowhere. Boom. It's just bots out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's out of nowhere. Blink of an eye, I go live. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really announce some lives, and that's what I call flash lives. Okay. So as you can see in the title there, I got the icons there, or whatever you want to call them, emojis, right? The lightning flash and the red dot, right? It's a flash live. So that means I just go live out of nowhere. I don't announce it or anything. Sometimes I do announce my lives, obviously, when I have like guests. You can check out my channel for any new subscribers. Any new people on the platform. You can check my channel out, and I have guests sometimes. And I do announce those lives, days prior. So, but when it comes to this, I don't know where I go live, man. I don't really, hey, Zeno, salute to Amsterdam. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Zeno, you saw the fights, man. I hope you did, because we're going to talk about them. Mostly we're going to talk about, I want to talk about what I showed in the thumbnail, the image there. Nikita, White Chocolate, and Dan Dubois versus Joyce. So White Chocolate versus Maddox, Dan Dubois. It depends who jumps in the chat and what you guys talk about. So yeah, I want to talk about this, these two fights in particular. And what I was saying, man, that's great stuff. So let me get back to the method, what I do watch. I'm sure you guys heard it. I'm sure Zeno heard it before. That, what I usually do when it comes to fights, I try to, when there's like a big fight announcement or whatever, Andre, what's going on? Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a moment. Thank you so much, Andre, for jumping in, bro. Thank you so much for jumping in. Yeah, we're going to talk about Nikita right now in a moment. We're going to talk about him, definitely, man. One of my tips and tricks is what I do, man. And I try applying it. Try applying it, you guys. As it is, community here and stuff like that, boxing community. I mean, we range from all ages, right? Young to older. But a lot of us are adults, full grown men and women, who have busy lives. That's one thing that helps. When it comes to like a big fight announcement, for example, in this case, Danny Garcia, Errol Spence, right? It was announced a while ago. But when it comes to big fight announcements, what I do is I just don't pay attention to the dates. I don't pay attention to the dates. I just, okay, it's around December. Okay, great. And then I just live on, I go on with my life and I focus on the fights that are at hand. You know what I'm saying? I try not to make videos much about it. I maybe mention it here and there. And then when it comes to, the fight week, I just don't pay attention, and time flies. Living our busy lives, hustle, bustle, blah, blah, and enjoying the fights at the present moment. You know what I'm saying? Enjoying the fights and just enjoying the ride of boxing, as it is, the events weekly. I don't really focus too much on the big fight. And then before I know it, fight week is here. So isn't that great? Isn't that great, man? We're going to have Errol Spence and Danny Garcia this weekend. Awesome stuff. I can't wait, man. I love it. I love it. So, all right. So let's talk about it. I want to start out with Nikita Abibiy, okay? I just call him White Chocolate. Nikita White Chocolate, right? As he is also known, right? White Chocolate. As Andre said, wasn't impressive. And the thing here is that, we got to understand that Nikita, he's a prospect. He's still climbing up the ladder, you know what I mean? Middleweight division, orthodox stance, orthodox fighter. And the thing here is that, when he fought against Maddox, okay? Let me open it up. I'm just gonna open it up real fast. Let me check it out here. So, Maddox, he's not necessarily, he's, the opponents that White Chocolate is facing aren't really top notch at all. They're at the bottom of the totem pole, not the way bottom. There are so many fighters in all the divisions, but Brandon Maddox, he has 7 wins and 4 losses. So you're not talking about top competition. You're not talking about a big fight, as far as competition wise. So the thing here is that White Chocolate, fought Maddox, and what I noticed is that I called the fight. I had fun. I love calling fights. It's so much fun. I don't call all the fights because sometimes there are just so many platforms that call fights, and sometimes I just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as Nikita's opponent. At the beginning of the fight, Brandon Maddox, he was pretty good. I'm not taking anything away from him. The jabs were nice. He was landing lots of jabs. Good stuff. But Nikita, one thing I do take away from this fight when he fought Maddox, he needs to work on defense, man. That's the thing about White Chocolate. He needs to work on defense. I understand that. We have to understand. You know what I'm saying? He's a prospect. Like I said, he's 10-0. He just has 10 fights. He just has 10 fights. Got to be a little patient with him. I'm patient with it. And I like this kid. I really do. I really like it. He hits hard, man. This kid hits hard, man. He just throws some punches, man. If I remember correctly, it went all 6 rounds. It was a 6-round fight, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 8. I think it was 6. So, it was 6 rounds. So they went all 6 rounds. And he really, what I do take away from this fight, as far as with White Chocolate and his skills in the ring, he definitely needs to work on defense. He has to work on defense, man. White Chocolate has to work on defense. But he hits hard. And what I like about White Chocolate, man, Nikita, is that he goes to the body a lot, man. And that's some good stuff right there. That's really good, man. For his age, and for, at the period of his career that he's in right now, the trajectory, it's novice as far as pro. 10 wins, he just has 10 fights. That's what I say, we got to be patient with him, Obviously, we're going to see he's still green in several areas. I think mainly defense. It seems like his offense is his defense, and you really got to correct that, man. I think the fighter should really correct that. If they haven't corrected it, if they have problems in defense, they got to correct it early in their career, because it's going to definitely cause problems, as they move up the ladder. Definitely cause problems. So I hope that White Chocolate's corner is really focusing on that, and his team is focusing on that, and that they detect that he has to work on defense. That's just a must. He got hit too much, man, by Maddox. He got hit too much. We're talking about, it was just a 6-round fight, man. We're not talking about a 12-rounder. We're not talking about a 10-rounder. You know what I'm saying? And Nikita was getting hit a lot, all right? He was getting hit a little too much. Now, one of the things that Nikita has to work on too, when we're talking about defense, you know what I'm saying, his head work, his head movement, left to right, back. You know what I'm saying? You really got to watch it, because as I was saying, Maddox, he was landing jabs. He was landing a lot of jabs, okay? Kind of reminds me, we're going to get to that in a moment, with Joyce and Danny Dubois. Joyce was landing jabs all night long. all night long, all fight long, every round, jab, jab. And Brandon was doing that. And that's smart for Brandon. That was smart for Brandon to do, to use the jab. I mean, the jab is definitely essential and fundamental when it comes to boxing, and it's a must in boxing. I mean, the jab is a must in boxing. When fighters don't really use the jab, it's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You got to use the jab. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely landing on Nikita a lot. You know what I'm saying? Another thing I take away from this, as far as Nikita, you know what I'm saying? He has a chin, man. He has a chin because Brandon was landing some nice shots on Nikita, man. So he can take some punches. You know what I'm saying? I know that, Nikita's green, he's green. He has to work on some stuff, but I'm just, talking about things that I'm taking away from this fight. You know what I'm saying? So Nikita can take some punches, man. I mean, Maddox, I was mixing both names. Maddox, I mean, he was landing some nice punches against Nikita. So, I mean, that's something else I take away. As far as so far, Nikita can take some punches. So, he can take some punches. So far, it looks like he has a chin. So, I mean, that's a plus for Nikita. But, a big minus is that he definitely has to work on defense. And I reiterate that his corner, his trainer, they better work on that, man. They better work on that. And like I said, I've said this, I think I said this last week, I don't remember. I think I went live, or I think I made a video, I don't know. As far as, Nikita, he just he hits hard. He hits hard. I mean, we got to understand that he hits hard. And his corner, I got my eye on this kid. I like him. I think there's something special about him. But I hope he doesn't. Let me say something real fast. I hope he doesn't end up like a Jaime Munguia guy. You know what I'm saying? The thing about Jaime Munguia that I see, there's a similarity between Jaime Munguia and Nikita, and it's the lack of defense. And I hope that Nikita doesn't end up like a Jaime Munguia, because fight after fight, Jaime Munguia has a lot of fights now. He has experience in pro boxing, and he hasn't fixed that defense issue. That's the thing. I hope Nikita doesn't end up like that. I really do hope that his trainer, corrects that quick, that they get back to the drawing board and see, the deficiencies that he had against Maddox, and that they fix that. Because, I said that, I said it before right now, just a moment ago, that, I see something special in Nikita. So far, I think it is. I think he's special, you know what I'm saying? I think he's promising for the division. But if he doesn't correct the defense, and if he ends up like a Jaime Munguia, then I guess, it's not going to be. He's probably going to get knocked out, sooner or later if he doesn't fix that. So, but again, what I was saying, he hits hard, and as I reiterate, going back to what I was saying a moment ago, that he goes to the body, man. Those hooks to the body, man. Those little, uppercuts on the inside, man, to the body. That's smart. That is smart, ladies and gentlemen. And you don't see, all the fighters do that. You know what I'm saying? Especially like at the point where Nikita is in his career, he goes to the body. Beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful stuff. So I'm not taking anything away from Nikita in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? He hits hard, man. Overhand rights, boom. You know what I'm saying? And body shots. Good stuff right there. Definitely has to work on his, defense, head movement, some upper body movement. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the footwork looks okay, but obviously he can improve in the footwork as far as angles, side steps, pivoting. You know what I'm saying? He can work on that. So he has several things to work on. As far as, white chocolate in his game, in the ring. But I'm keeping my eye on him. And I'm one of those few platforms that's talking about this kid, man. Because no one's really talking about Nikita, but I am talking about him because I like him. I like this kid. So we'll see, man. I'm very, very anxious and expecting who his next opponent is going to be. You know what I'm saying? And I hope he improves. I definitely hope Nikita improves in his defense game, man. Like I said, I repeat, I do not want to see him end up like a Jaime Munguia. I think Jaime Munguia, man, I mean, that dude got to work on some stuff, man. I mean, I don't know about that kid. If Jaime Munguia, faces, elite echelon fighters in the division, I think he has a belt. I really don't know, man. I don't know. But what I've seen from Munguia, I'm not impressed, man. I'm not impressed by Munguia. That dude hits way too much. Way too much. Kind of reminds me of a Chisora heavyweight division. I'm saying Chisora, man, when he fought White, generally speaking, Chisora, man, he believes in the hit and get hit. He believes in the hit and get hit method, and that's his method. That's his strategy. That's his approach in the sport of boxing. I mean, it is what it is. That's what he is. I mean, that it serves for entertaining fights. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Chisora, but me personally, for my taste, I think that's a really bad approach when it comes to the sport of boxing. I mean, he said it out of his own mouth when he did the the whole lead up to the Parker fight, but he didn't fight him obviously because Parker got spider bite, so he had to opt out of the fight. Okay, so he had a spider bite according to Parker, but whatever. But on the lead up to that fight, Chisora said that he doesn't believe in the hit and not get hit approach, and I don't know about that. Drink my water. Yeah, I don't know about that Chisora's approach in boxing, man. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, he's entertained many boxing fans or whatever community. So I mean, it is what it is. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, Munguia reminds me of a Chisora. He just get hit. His offense is a defense, and you don't want to do that, man. You don't want to do that when it comes to sport of boxing. You want to preserve yourself. You want to be smart in the ring. You want to use defense. I mean, you want to be a defensive fighter and an offensive fighter. Use offense at the right time, calculated time, and that takes experience. You know what I'm saying? That's what Nikita needs. To conclude with Nikita, that's what Nikita needs. And he needs a smart corner. He needs a smart corner. I'm not saying his corner ain't smart, but if we don't see improvement with Nikita in his fights to come, then I don't know about Nikita, man. I don't know about him. But so far, I like him. And I definitely want to see improvement with Nikita. You know what I'm saying? He was getting hit a little bit too much against Brandon Maddox. But it was an interesting fight, man. It was a action-packed fight because I mean there was just there were no boring moments with Nikita. I mean that's what I like about Nikita. He just brings it. He brings it, and I think that's why I have my eye on this kid because when he fights, he brings it. You know what I mean? And he's not shy in the ring. He just goes in and he fights. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be careful. He has to be careful, and I hope that his corner and his team is watching that. His deficiencies to grow. So he can definitely grow. And I'm expecting improvements in Nikita's next fight. He has to improve. If we see improvements in his next fight, next couple fights at least, then I think this kid's going to be really promising. I think this kid, and like I said, I think I'm one of the few platforms that's talking about this kid, and I got my eye on this kid, definitely, man. So that it is what it is with Nikita, man. Middleweight. So you guys obviously know the middleweight division is stacked. I don't even think Nikita would do well against Gabriel Rosado. We're not even talking about the top 15. We're not even talking, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Nikita has a lot to grow on. So, but I got my eye on him. I like him. I like this kid. So we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. We're not even considering the top 15 with Nikita yet. Definitely not. He still has several fights to go. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe his next fight, he'll improve a lot. You know what I'm saying? And but I hope he does grow. So that's the conclusion as far as with Nikita. Just want to talk a little bit about Nikita, man, definitely. And let me say this also, as far as what I was talking about a moment ago about the action that White Chocolate brought, that night in the undercard of Gabriel Rosado and Daniel Jacobs. They brought more action than the main event. I mean, it is what it is. My hat's off to Brandon Maddox because the thing here about Brandon Maddox also, looks like he was tiring out, but he was fighting back, man. He was fighting back. And he was tiring out, though. I mean, so that's the thing. The type of level of competition that Nikita, I said I was going to include, but I things come to mind right now. The type of competition that Nikita, fought as far as with Maddox tired out like in the third round. With that, I mean, and to get hit that much, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's why Nikita does definitely have to grow, but. So, but the fight was action packed. I mean, it was really action packed. It was entertaining. There was no boring moment in that fight, really, man. There was really no boring moment in that fight in that 6 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And it was a lot more action packed and entertaining than Gabriel Rosado and Daniel Jacobs. I think that's the only thing I can talk about concerning the Daniel Jacobs and Gabriel Rosado fight. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, and I definitely respect these fighters. You know what I'm saying? I mean, nothing to take away from them. I definitely respect them, but that fight was just a sparring match. That's pretty much all I can say with Daniel Jacobs and Gabriel Rosado. Okay, with that fight. But there was obviously improvement on Gabriel Rosado, man. He used great defense. But I mean, it is what it is with that fight. But I mean, Nikita versus Maddox was definitely more entertaining undercard fights. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So I want to go on to the next, post-fight reaction as far as Danny Dubois and Joyce. Wow. Now, a lot of people were surprised. Okay, a lot of people were surprised. I was surprised, and I'm eating crow. I ate crow over the weekend, and it wasn't good. Now, I called the fight. I was watching it, and I went live out of nowhere, as I do sometimes when it comes to announcing. As a matter of fact, I think I did. I think I posted a thumbnail on the very day, on Saturday or on Friday, I don't remember, to call the fight. So I actually planned it beforehand, And I called the Danny Dubois fight and Joe Joyce fight. Now, while I was calling it, I personally thought that Danny Dubois was winning the fight. Okay, I think he was. He was landing the more cleaner shots. As far as combos, power punches, he was landing nicely. Nice shots, man. 1-2s on the inside, overhand rights, quick overhand rights. You know what I'm saying? With the 1-2 combination. He was doing pretty well, man. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Dan Dubois. I know that right now, Dan Dubois is receiving quite a bit of criticism, okay? He's receiving quite a bit of criticism, that he's a quitter and that he's possibly another Kell Brook. And, but I'm not taking anything away from Dan Dubois' performance. As far as his performance before he took the knee, okay? Before he took the knee, I think he was doing pretty well, man. I think he was winning the fight. But while I was calling the fight, I was saying it time and time again. When I saw his eye closing, I said, you know what? Oh, his eye, this, it looks like his eye is swelling up, and I don't remember which round it was, but I started talking a lot about his eye as the rounds progressed, when I detected that his eye, was swelling up. And then by the time his eye was closing, I said, you know what? This is going to be a big problem. I was saying it time and time again in the fight, during the fight while I was calling it, that his eye doesn't look good, and I don't know what's going to happen, okay? But he was doing well. I mean, he was doing all right. I think I had Dan Dubois winning most rounds at least. If anything, he was slightly winning, okay? But I had Dan Dubois winning so far, you know what I'm saying? I think around before he took the knee, a couple rounds around before he took the knee, I think I had Dan Dubois up, okay? But as you guys all know, and I was saying when I was calling the fight, I was saying, you know what, those are some weird jabs that Joe Joyce is throwing, and the weird jabs, the slow jabs. I mean, I don't, what I'm saying, that's another thing that I could take from this fight as far as when it comes to criticizing, what I'm saying. Daniel Dubois, man, kind of like what I was saying with Nikita. Daniel Dubois has to work on the head movement, man, the defense, man. He landed. How it was hard for me to believe and hard for me to wrap around. Well, I guess it isn't at the same time because, Joe Joyce, great timing with the jab. I mean, it is what it is. Timing beats speed. Timing beats speed. So, I don't know. It was kind of perplexing, man, because while I was calling the fight and watching the fight right before my very eyes, I was like, how is it that this guy, Joyce, is landing all these jabs? He was landing jab after jab, man. And with his, well, it is what it is. I mean, that's the answer to my doubts. I mean, to my perplexity of trying to wrap my head around how Joe Joyce was landing so many jabs. How he was landing so many jabs. Timing. I mean, what else can I say? You know what I mean? Joe Joyce was landing with great timing. His timing was right on. But Daniel Dubois, man, he has to learn how to slip the jab, man. I mean, one of the essential things as far as defense that Daniel Dubois or any boxer has to learn is slipping the jab, man. I mean, and countering it. Slip and counter, boom, you know what I mean? Or catch it. You know what I mean? Catch it with your right glove, and counter on the inside, with the, my gosh, dude, counter it with the left jab, counter it with a body shot or what have you, counter it with the left hook. You know what I'm saying? And Daniel Dubois, man, I was disappointed. I was disappointed with Dan Dubois' defense, definitely, man. It was hard. I repeat, it was hard for me to wrap my head around Joe Joyce landing so many jabs and Dan Dubois not using defense to avoid those jabs, man. Wow. And I was saying throughout the fight while I was calling it, I was like, man, Daniel Dubois is landing these awkward, I mean, I don't know how to call it, but those awkward jabs, but the timing was great. The timing was great, man. And I was like, those are weird. I was saying it throughout the fight. I don't remember what I said, how I termed it, but I said, those are like weird jabs that Joyce is throwing. But they were landing round after round. But I reiterate, Daniel Dubois did have success throughout the rounds, man. I'm not taking anything away from him. I mean, he was throwing some nice combos on the inside, 1-2s, as Daniel Dubois typically does. Landing several power punches. Now, Joyce, as I was saying about Nikita, has a chin too. Man, Joyce has a chin, ladies and gentlemen. He has a chin. How I'm surprised he didn't go down. And that's what I'm saying. I ate crow. I ate crow over the weekend, as a lot of people did. Isn't that surprising how boxing just, that's what I love about boxing, the unexpected element. You know what I'm saying? There's always an unexpected element in the sport of boxing. I had Danny Dubois knocking out Joyce, man. Just as many had, right, Lomachenko boxing out Teofimo, or if Teofimo was going to win, they had him knocking out, Lomachenko. But the world was surprised. The community was surprised on Teofimo winning and not knocking out Lomachenko. Surprise element. You know what I'm saying? Same thing here. Joyce, surprised the world. And with that jab, perfect, great timing, landing on Daniel Dubois' face and his eye throughout the whole fight, and it caused Daniel Dubois to take the knee. I mean, my gosh, I was surprised, man. I was like, what? Okay, and like I said, I was calling the fight, and when he took the knee, when he took the knee, I was like, what? Oh my gosh, dude, what are you? I mean, now, check this out. Like I said, a lot of boxing community right now is criticizing Dan Dubois, saying that he's weak, you this and that. You know what I'm saying? It's a perplexing thing there. It's a complicated and controversial thing to talk about, and to give a reaction on it. I understand. I understand several sides of what people are saying. Now, reports are coming out, what have you, that, he had nerve damage around the eye. I'm not a medic, whatever, but he had some big damage on that eye. I mean, I can just sum it up like that in those terms. Nerve damage and whatever else happened there in his eye. Now people are talking about, Triple D. Now he's another Kell Brook, heavyweight Kell Brook. I don't know, man, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in this aspect, but I'm not sure if fighters who have quit once have the propensity or are more prone to quit again in future fights. That's something we got to consider, though. Okay, that's something we got to consider. That the question here now is, the future. Now watch. The future Daniel Dubois opponents are gonna target the eye now. Okay, Joyce, came out recently and said, he's young. Daniel Dubois still has a future in the sport of boxing. I understand he took an eye, he saved himself. He said something along those lines. Joyce. Joyce said something along the lines of, and that's cool of Joyce. He said, he understood that why Daniel Dubois took the knee, that he saved himself. He saved he saved himself. His health and his career. He's young. He still has a future in the sport of boxing, And like I've said time and time again, ladies and gentlemen, and boxing community knows that a lot of people say the same thing, that one loss doesn't define a fighter. I mean, it's a loss. It's no big deal. He'll get up. I mean, hopefully he springs back and, gets back. But his future opponents are going to target that eye now. His future opponents are going to target that eye. So that's something we really got to keep up. I know it sounds like a play in words, right? But we got to keep an eye on this. No pun intended, I guess they say, right? We got to keep an eye on Daniel Dubois very closely in his future fights, in his next fight. And Daniel Dubois has to go back, like I was saying a moment ago with Nikita, similar thing. Has to go back to the drawing board with his defense. If he doesn't learn how to slip the jab, okay, Daniel Dubois is not going to go too far, man. I mean, he's going to get pounded. He's going to get pounded by the jab constantly throughout the night in his fights, in his future fights, if Daniel Dubois doesn't learn how to slip the jab. If Daniel Dubois doesn't work on head movement. If Daniel Dubois doesn't learn how to slip a jab and counter. Left hooks, body shots, counter with a body shot. Quick 1-2 on the inside after you slip the jab. Boom, boom. And then back up. And then use your footwork. And get out the way. Get out of harm's way. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like you can do the left and right, like Mike Tyson does. You know what I'm saying? There are several ways and methods and strategies to avoid the jab. And that's the thing. That's kind of what I was disappointed in. I was really disappointed in, and how Daniel Dubois didn't have an answer. Now that's another thing we've got to consider here, ladies and gentlemen. This is another thing we've got to consider. Why didn't Daniel Dubois' corner detect this early in the fight? I don't know, man. There are several questions I'm taking away from this fight now that I'm reflecting upon it. Reflecting upon it over the weekend. Right now in this live, visualizing what I saw. Why didn't Daniel Dubois' team and his trainer in the corner, didn't have another game plan and didn't tell him how to slip the jab, didn't tell him or didn't instruct him and guide him how to stay away from the jab? I mean, these are some serious questions that Daniel Dubois has to reflect upon and his team, and they have to counter this. They definitely have to counter this, guys, because, ladies and gentlemen, because from now on, I repeat, Daniel Dubois' future opponents, they're going to see this weakness in Daniel Dubois, the weakness in him taking the knee and the weakness of his eye, and they're going to be going for that eye. So Daniel Dubois definitely has to work on this, man, definitely. And but on the contrary, I'm not taking anything away from Dan Dubois, nothing away from him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he just has a loss, no big deal. I mean, the loss against Joyce. Now with Joyce, it's the same thing. I mean, when I was calling the fight, I said there's really no change in his speed. It seems like Dan Dubois didn't improve too much in his speed at all. Okay, maybe a little bit, but not much at all. But his timing was right on. So, as you guys already know, like I said a moment ago, that, timing is better than speed. It beats speed. Timing beats speed. But just because timing beats speed, it doesn't mean you don't have to improve on your speed. You see what I'm saying? I mean, got to repeat that. Just because timing beats speed, it doesn't mean you don't have to improve on your speed. It's always good to improve on speed. So I wish Joyce would improve on his speed. I'm still firm on that. I'm still adamant on that. But hey, definitely hats off to Joyce and beating Daniel Dubois with a jab. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. But I'm not taking anything away from Daniel Dubois, man. I mean, but like I said, a lot of people have different perspectives, and I'm not hating on them. I'm not hating on other, platforms saying that, Daniel Dubois is possibly the next Kell Brook. I don't know. We'll see. But several questions are in my mind now about this. Okay, he quit once. We'll just see what the future holds, man. I really hope Dan Dubois comes back. It's just a loss, no big deal, but he has to improve on these aspects that I was talking about a moment ago. He definitely has to improve. Joyce, I mean, I like his footwork as a heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? As a heavyweight, he uses the ring nicely. I like how, he uses his footwork and upper body movement. That's exactly what I was saying, his head movement. It's exactly what I was saying on the lead up to the fight. Dan Dubois, I think it was on Friday morning. Yeah, I think it was on Friday. I went live and gave my final analysis on Dan Dubois versus Joyce. And I said that, Joyce's defense could give a problem for Dan Dubois, his upper body movement, his head movement, because he's pretty good at that for a heavyweight. He's pretty good at that, So now Joyce or talks or whatever reports are talking about possibly Joyce facing an Usyk or a Chisora or something along those lines. Usyk, okay, if Black Panther, what's going on? Yeah, you're definitely right, Black Panther. Thanks so much for jumping in, fam. In Black Panther, I do flash lives sometimes. Flash lives are just out of nowhere. I just start speaking my mind. You know what I'm saying? So I just went out of nowhere. Obviously, throughout the week and daily, Lord willing, I'll keep popping out content, pushing content. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I just wanted to go live. You know what I'm saying? Black Panther says mobility. He needs the focus ball. Yeah, definitely, man. I think you're talking about Dan Dubois, right? Yes, the focus ball. He definitely does need that. And that was Black Panther. That was disappointing for me, because I was definitely going for Dan Dubois. I'm not a biased fan, of course not. I just love the sport of boxing. I love all fighters. But you know what I'm saying? I was leaning towards Dan Dubois winning the fight. You know, I like this guy. Joe Joyce, I give my hats off to him. I'm taking nothing away from him. I mean, he beat Dan Dubois with a jab. I mean, that speaks volumes right there. You know, so Dan Dubois, man, unfortunately, I mean, losing to a jab, that's sad. I'm just gonna put it out there, man. I'm saying what it is. That's sad, and it disappointed me. It disappointed me. So Dan Dubois better go back to the drawing board, and he better work on that, man. If not, you know, I guess he's not going to be so big, right? But now, interesting, like I said a moment ago, that Joe Joyce, now he's talking about, you know, throwing the name out of Usyk. Okay, now, you know, I called that fight when Usyk's recent fight when he fought Chisora. When Usyk fought Chisora, I called the fight. I went live. We had a lot of people jump in the building on that live session. Wow, there was a lot of people in there. And I was saying that Usyk was slow. Okay, that would be an interesting matchup. That would be an interesting matchup. Joe Joyce versus Usyk. Okay, Usyk has way better footwork than Joe Joyce as far as the heavyweight division is concerned. About, you know, as far as the heavyweight division, Usyk has some nice footwork. You know what I'm saying? He uses the ring. He uses the ring better than Joyce, in my personal opinion. But it would be an interesting fight to watch. I wouldn't be too excited to watch. You know, I wouldn't be excited because the thing here is that I mentioned it. Okay, I mentioned it right after the fight. Like I said, I called the fight with Dan Dubois, between Dan Dubois and Joyce. I called the fight, and after, you know, after Dan Dubois took the knee and just okay, he lost. You know, I said, you know what, Joe Joyce, I still don't think he's ready for the top 10, man. I mean, it may sound controversial, whatever, and I don't even know the rankings right now as far as Joe Joyce. I'm checking it. Actually, I'm going to open it right now. Wait a moment here. Wait a moment. Okay, so I'm just checking it right now. Joe Joyce, okay, he's around the top 11. All right, he's top 11. Yeah, he's 11. He's ranked 11 in WBO. Okay, he's ranked 11. He's ranked in the IBF. He's not even in the rankings in the IBF, looks like. Okay, and in the WBA, Joe Joyce is ranked. He's not even ranked in WBA. Okay, so he's not ranked in WBA or the IBF. It's not like I ride too much on the sanctioning bodies and their rankings, but to a certain extent, I respect it. Okay, but not, you know, I don't completely respect it. You know what I'm saying? For reasons I've explained time and time again. WBC, Joe Joyce is ranked 11. So we got WBO and WBC, Joe Joyce is ranked 11. But I don't think, okay, let me reiterate. Let me correct what I said. He's not ready for the top 5, I don't think. Now, I don't know how the heck, and I've said it time and time again, how the heck Alexander Usyk is ranked 2 in the WBC and ranked 1 in the WBO, mandatory, if I'm not mistaken, against Anthony Joshua? I mean, I don't know. That's one part. Those are the parts I don't respect as far as rankings and division, you know, in certain divisions. And this whole sanction body stuff. Ranked 2 in WBO, I mean, whatever. But, you know, if he fights Anthony Joshua, I've said it time and time again, Anthony Joshua is going to humiliate Usyk, in my opinion. Okay, in my opinion. I mean, there's always an element of surprise, as we saw it with Dan Dubois and Joe Joyce, as we saw with, you know, time and time again, we see it. Recently with, you know, Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. I mean, there's just so many surprises in the sport of boxing. But, you know, Joe Joyce, I don't think he's ready for I would love to see Andrew Reese. I think Andrew Reese would really, really surprise Joe Joyce on the inside, man. I mean, with those fast hands, fast combos, 5-punch combos on the inside, man, 6-punch combos on the inside like he did to Anthony Joshua and just made him, man, wow. Oh my gosh, with that, but the timing, I don't think it really affect Andrew Reese. He's too fast, man. Andrew Reese is too fast for you know, for Joe Joyce. I think, and those combos on the inside are so fast, lightning, you know, for a heavyweight. Wow. So he's definitely not ready. I don't think personally Joe Joyce. I'm speaking about this because Joe Joyce is talking about now fighting Usyk. It would be interesting, but I wouldn't be too excited about that. I would be more excited of watching Joyce versus Andrew Ruiz. Luis Ortiz? Come on, man. Joyce ain't ready for these guys, man. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else to say that. I don't think. So I would say top five. Top five. Let's just say it like that. Top five. I said top 10. I don't think he's ready for top 10. Maybe a couple of names. Maybe, or even going lower. You know what I'm saying? I think Joyce and Efe Ajagba. That would be cool to watch. I would like to see Efe Ajagba against Joyce. Chisora, I don't think so. You know, Chisora is pretty out of it. Maybe Otto Wallin or something. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something like Chris Arreola. That would be cool. Joyce versus Chris Arreola. I think that would be nice. That would be nice. That would be cool to watch. You know what I'm saying? You know, Joseph Parker. Okay. You know, the names out there. There are some names out there. Joseph Parker. That would be cool. But this is where the line is drawn in the sand. Joyce. You know, the line is drawn when you talk about Andy Ruiz, when you talk about Luis Ortiz, when you talk about Deontay Wilder, when you talk about Anthony Joshua, when you talk about, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm, Tyson Fury. Don't even think about these guys, Joyce. Don't even think about them, okay? Because these guys, I think they would just mollywop. I think they would mollywop for Joyce. Okay? Yeah, bottom number 7 fighter. Yeah. That sounds about right. Black Banter definitely sounds about right, bro. So yeah, Joyce. I would love to see him fight against Efe Ajagba, but I just gotta say it time and time again, man. Joyce doesn't really convince me, man. I mean, Danny Dubois lost because of his big deficiency in his defense and not knowing how to avoid that jab. I mean, it is what it is. I don't have anything against Danny Dubois' combos. I have nothing against his power. You know, I got nothing against his speed, really. You know what I'm saying? Even Danny Dubois has been criticized in the boxing community about his speed. I don't criticize Danny Dubois too much in his speed. I think he's all right. I think he's decent. You know what I'm saying? I don't criticize him about his combos. I don't criticize him, you know, the 1-2s on the inside. But I highly criticize him. And he lost because he didn't know how to slip a jab. I mean, wow, man. I mean, come on, man. Come on, Danny Dubois. That's what I'm saying. I was really disappointed. I was, at the end of the fight, I was calling it. I was like, what? Really? But on the contrary, right? On the contrary, nerve damage, whatever, right? The medic said, I mean, his eye was hurt pretty bad. So, and by the time I was seeing it, like I said, when I was calling the fight, when I was seeing his eye starting to swell up, I said, uh-oh, there's a problem with his eye. And then the next round, and then it was closing more. I said, you know what? This is going to be a big problem. This is going to be a big problem in the fight. You know, this is going to be I was saying it very clearly when I was calling it. This is going to be a very big problem for Dan Dubois in the fight. I don't know. I started doubting it a lot. I started doubting Dan Dubois, saying, you know, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if Dan Dubois is going to really win this fight now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say it like that, but I was saying, I don't know. I was doubting it a lot. Okay? And so it is what it is. Now, these fighters that I'm talking about right now, these fighters up higher in the rankings, the top 5, you know, even Joseph Parker, I think even Joseph Parker, these guys, they can slip jabs. And even if they don't slip jabs as much, they know how to catch them. They know how to catch them with the gloves. They know how to keep their guard up, and they know how to work the defense. They don't necessarily have to slip it, but they know how to keep their guard up, and they know how to catch it with their gloves. And they know how to counter. You see? Their IQ is way off the charts. It's way up there. It's way higher than what Joyce can bring in the ring. Okay? So definitely don't buy. I don't know who the heck is talking about it. I mean, it is what it is. There are so many people, there are so many platforms out there in communities as far as the sport of boxing, and I respect it. But I don't know who the heck gets the idea, or how, or who, or where it comes from, the source of information that's talking about, oh, Joyce, can he fight? Can he beat Fury? Can he beat Anthony Joshua? I mean, what kind of questions are those, man? What kind of questions are those? I mean, please, don't be asking these kinds of questions. Don't be. I mean, it's kind of like saying, can Jake Paul really beat? uh, can Jake Paul really beat Canelo? I mean, I know that question hasn't come out, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came out. If somebody starts talking about it, one of these media sources, oh, can he really beat? I mean, shush, hush, hush, puppy. You know what I'm saying? Hush, puppy. Don't even bring those names. It's humiliating to bring those names up against. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know where. I understand it though. I'm not hating. No, that's just my opinion. I don't know where these questions come from, but I know anything can happen in boxing. There are elements of surprise, like I just said a moment ago. Dan Dubois, Joyce, a big element of surprise for me. A big element of surprise for me because I thought Dan Dubois was going to really go in there and give a statement. I thought he was going to give a statement to the world. But I'm definitely eating crow. And it's all good. I love it. I love it because I don't like the crow, but I love the fact that I learned a lot. I learned a lot as a fan in the sport of boxing. And it's really disappointing for me to see what Dan Dubois didn't improve on during the fight. Slipping a simple jab, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters. If there are any girls tuning in later in the future, whatever, right? After the live, or if there are any tuning in right now in the background, I was disappointed. How did Dan Dubois' corner not change the game plan while Dan Dubois was getting jabbed round after round after round after round after round after? I mean, it was the same thing. Oh my gosh! You see, that's what perplexed me. That talks a lot about Dan Dubois' corner, ladies and gentlemen. That talks a lot about Daniel Dubois' corner. Is his trainer really experienced enough to detect a simple jab? Did they really train for that? Oh, come on, guys. Help me answer these questions, please, in the chat. Hey, you guys are jumping in. Thank you guys so much. I know. I go on early now because the time's changed. I heard daylight savings time about a few weeks ago, a month ago or something like that in Mexico. So I probably go on very early when I go on compared to your time. So sorry about that, but I just go on. Flash live, y'all know what it is, man. Flash. Bruce goes in the building. Thank you guys so much, man. Let me just shout out everybody. Thanks so much. Zeno, Andre, Black Banter. Thank you guys so much. JC, the author. Go subscribe to JC, man. He has some great interviews with other authors, man. Definitely good stuff. Love you, bro. Thank you guys so much for jumping in, man. Rama Lane, thanks so much for jumping in the building. J.A. Dixon is up in the. I gotta hear you guys. Please comment away. Comment away. What did you guys think on Dan Dubois, Joyce? Please comment away, man. I gotta hear you guys. Salute, Renee. I told y'all that, man. I'm eating crow, J.A. I'm eating crow. Salute. So I told y'all that Dubois wasn't the one. He was beating up on bouncers, faced adversity, and folded. Man, you're right, bro. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm not taking it, and that's what I love about you guys, man. You guys know how to express your opinions in a respectful manner, and it is what it is, man. I accept it. I accept it. It's a difference when you say it like that than, oh, you're garbage and you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, that's nonsense, but whatever, right? But yeah, J.A., you're right, bro. You're right. He did fold. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm not. I mean, you're definitely 100, bro. 100, J.A. All day, all day. Ogden is in the building. What's going on, Ogden? We had a great interview some time ago, me and Ogden. Y'all go check it out. He fought in pro. He's a former pro fighter, has experience in amateurs, and he has very important information, as far as fight in pro and promoters. Y'all go check that interview out. It's in my channel. Go check it out, man. Definitely good stuff with Ogden right there, man. D Haji, what's going on? Family's in the building, man. Y'all jumping in. I thank you guys so much, man. Thank you guys so much for jumping in the building. Y'all saluting each other. Let me get back right here. So we got Jay. If your trainer has to tell you to avoid the jab, that's constantly hitting you in the face. I'm saying, bro. I'm saying, man. But the question here is, did they train for that? I mean, that's one of the most basic things. That's why I was saying it time and time again before y'all jumped in. I'm disappointed in Dan Dubois, man. Very disappointed in him. I'm disappointed. And I got a lot of questions in my mind now about Dan Dubois. I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions. Now I'm not really convinced with Dan Dubois, man. I'm not really convinced with him. Let him fight Kaunaki. Oh, that would be nice. I didn't even mention those names, Black Panther, when I was mentioning the possibilities of Dan Dubois. I'm sorry, Joe Joyce's next opponents. That would be nice. Kaunaki, that would be nice. That would be nice. I would like to see that. You see, so that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Get back to what I was saying right here a moment ago. Getting back to what I was saying. I don't know if Joe Joyce is ready for those other upper echelon heavyweights. And I don't know who or where, I don't know, whatever. There are so many platforms out there are mentioning these names for Joe Joyce. And this was before, check this out, peep this, you guys, check it out, please. This was before, okay? This was before Dan Dubois and Joe Joyce was even announced. People were throwing names for Joe Joyce, or I think Joe Joyce himself, I don't know. But people were starting to throw names out, these names. Oh, is Joyce ready for Fury? Man, shush. Hush. Is Joyce ready for Wilder? Come on, shush. Shut up. I mean, with all due respect, I gotta say it. You get to the point where, like, shut up, man. Just shut up. You know? And I'm saying it with all due respect. I mean, I'm not, y'all know my platform. Y'all know my approach. But there are just some questions where you're like, just shush. Just shut up, man. Just shut up. It was the same thing. Listen. It was the same thing when people tried to hype up. Okay, I'm going to give you a perfect analogy or whatever you want to call it. It was the same thing as when people were saying, does McGregor have a chance against Mayweather? Shut up, man. Oh, my gosh. I understand it was marketing. They want to make more money, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, these reporters were out there. Oh, yeah, McGregor, you know, he has experience in MMA and boxing. He can box. And just shut up, please. Please. I understand you're trying to hype a fight up, but just shut up, man. You know, and we know that Mayweather, he was given a chance to McGregor because audience paid and give them, you know, a run for their money, blah, 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 whatever. I can care less about those aspects, but we know that Mayweather was giving McGregor a chance. What, he took him out in round 11? Or what round was it? I don't even know. It was way too long, though. I know that Mayweather could have knocked McGregor out or TKO, whatever, in the third round. By the third round, it was game over. It could have been game over. But we know that Mayweather was giving him a chance, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So the reason why I say this is because these stupid questions these senseless questions of, oh, can Joe Joyce beat Luis Ortiz? Maybe he can if he waits another 3 years for Luis Ortiz to be really out of his prime, okay, to be really older. Maybe then. But now just shut up. Don't even ask those questions. Don't even try to. I don't know where these questions are coming from or these talks, but that's just complete nonsense in my humble opinion. I'm saying, and if it's true, if let's just say this: if Joe Joyce fights Andy Ruiz next fight, and if Joe Joyce beats Andy Ruiz, then I'm the one that's talking senseless. Yeah, that's fine. I'll accept it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know me. I'll accept the L. I'm good. I'll take my L's. I don't care. I mean, that's how I learn. I love it. I love how learning of the sport of I love being surprised. You know, that's what it's about. Because when we're surprised, then the matchup was, I mean, it was a good matchup. Good stuff, right? You know, see what I'm saying? You guys understand me? You see? So, but for now, talking about, Joe Joyce for Andy Ruiz, Joe Joyce, Wilder? I mean, shut up, man. Just shut up. Oh, Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua? Oh my gosh. Just slow the train down. Just put the brakes on that, man. Just put the let me get to the chat, man. Love it. Y'all going away here. Okay, cool. You're chatting away here. Awesome. Let me get to the chat real fast, man. Okay, so we got here Ogden saying, I agree. He should have used his jab a lot more in the fight. Yeah, Dan Dubois. I mean, that's the thing here, too. Dan Dubois didn't even use a jab, hardly. And I was disappointed in Dan Dubois, man. For me, what I take from this fight is disappointment. What I take from this fight is disappointment. And my hat's off to Joyce. I was saying before a lot of you guys jumped in that Joyce has timing. Great timing. Even though I was calling the fight, okay? And when I was saying in the fight, I was saying, his jab is weird. Awkward jab that Joyce has. But the timing was right on. Timing was right on, man. He read Daniel Dubois. He read Daniel Dubois like a book, man. And he knew how to land that jab. And hey, good stuff, man. That speaks highly of Joyce with this matchup. Just with this matchup. I'm not going to speak highly of Joyce of fighting the names I just mentioned a moment ago. Of course not. No way. He's not on that level yet. There's levels to this, man. There's levels to it. And that speaks highly of Daniel Dubois' deficiency. This fight, Daniel Dubois versus Joyce, speaks highly of Daniel Dubois' deficiency and not being able to figure out how to beat Joyce based off of a simple jab. My gosh. I had Joyce I didn't know that, Bruce. You had Joyce from the beginning? Wow. Man, hey, you guys know your boxing. I'm saying, you got my respects, y'all. That's why I love to hear from you guys. I love it. Bruce Facts. Whoever bet on Joyce, you know what? Hodges, check this out. On Instagram, recently, shouts out to all the Instagram followers, man, people are following me on Instagram. I really appreciate it. Also, the new subscribers, I repeat, all you guys who have been with me since day one, man, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. People starting to recently just, follow on Instagram, good stuff. And somebody challenged me, or I don't want to say challenged me, offered, whatever, a bet to wager. I think he's from UK because he said wager. I think that term is more common in the UK. He said, hey, I'll wager you, or something like that. His wording was kind of, looks like he was from the UK, around those areas. Other side of the pond. And he bet me $100. I said, hey, bro, I'm sorry, I don't do bets, man. He bet me $100 to, because he was going for Joyce, and I was going for, he noticed that I was going, because of my posts and stuff like that, my videos and breakdowns, he noticed that I was going for Dubois. Actually, I think he got me going for Dubois from a post I put on Dan Dubois' Instagram or something like that. I don't remember. I commented something, and he sent me a DM, and he said, "Hey, I'll wager you $100. I'm going for Joyce." And I was like, "No, I'm good, man. I don't do bets." Had I bet, I would have been crying right now. I would have been crying. So Hodges, you're right, man. Whoever bet on Joyce made it come up. Your facts, Hodges. Facts. JC says, "Man, I can't down Triple D. I don't know how pain." You're right, JC. You're right, bro. You're right. I mean, a lot of people are right in their certain aspects. You know what I'm saying? Truth has there's a lot when it comes to truth. You know what I'm saying? And you're right on that too. I never been in the ring or a street fight that lasted over a minute. Right. I usually didn't get punishment like that. Right. I've shared this before. I personally, I know to a certain extent how it feels, but not in the eye, because I would use headgear. I would definitely know how to slip. I knew how to slip a jab. I sparred. I trained down here in Mexico in a boxing gym. I've constantly sparred against a guy he wasn't in the amateurs, but his trainer said, hey, this kid he has amateur skills, man. This kid lived in the gym. And we would constantly spar each other. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't go 100 on me, obviously, but then I would also spar against bigger guys, people twice my size, just to have fun. And I cracked a rib. Okay, that's what I'm saying here, man. The guys who spar down here, man, they spar, man. They even though you tell them, hey, take it easy, because I'm talking about a guy almost twice. I sparred with a couple guys. I'm 120. I was at that time weighing 122. Right now, I'm probably 124. I've said this before in one of my lives. If I train right now to get back into boxing shape, I would just have to shed a couple pounds, because I keep my shape. I try to stay in shape as much as I can. Mm-hmm. But if I were to go back, and I would be in fighting shape in about 2 weeks, easily, because I know my training regimen, as far as my training routine, boxing routine and training, I can definitely get in shape in 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Maximum 2 weeks, yeah, definitely. And 1 week I could trim. I could probably do it in a week and a half, 2 weeks. Reason why I say all this is because I started training, and I sparred some guy constantly. He weighed in at about 160, and I was about 122. So you can just imagine the power. Okay, I mean, I understand when fighters say it or when whatever platforms say it, there are weight divisions. There are divisions for a reason, guys. There are weight classes for a reason because you fight a bigger dude. I mean, that power is going to definitely, it feels like the bricks punching you. So what happened was I was sparring with some dude and he was constantly going for he was throwing some left hooks to my, around my guard. I had my guard up and, I was good on my footwork and being able to avoid jabs. But, the left hook, man, around my guard on my right side threw like three constant, hooks there in my body, man, around the rib cage. And I cracked the rib. One of my ribs were fractured. And my gosh, the pain, folks. So the reason why I say JC, I understand what you're saying. I mean, Triple D taking the knee, that fracture, whatever nerve damage, whatever they call it. I mean, it was really injured. So you're right, bro. And the most I've ever lasted when I would spar, we would go when I was in top shape, man, tip top shape for sparring. I would go maximum 4 or 5 rounds with no break. And I loved it. It was so much fun, man. So 4 or 5 rounds, I'm saying 4 or 5 rounds with no break, with no, ding, 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 ding. We would just keep going. Let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So I understand to a certain extent. I haven't been in a full-blown professional fight, of course not, or with no headgear. I mean, but now, JC, you're right. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to exhaust what JC is saying here, exhaustively explain it and describe it. You're totally right, JC, that, people who haven't really been in a real fight or like a pro fight, we can't really contemplate 100, what Triple D had to go through. So, I mean, but I was really disappointed because JC, a jab did that. A jab. That's the aspect out. I wasn't really disappointed. Okay, Triple D took a knee, and I understand that. The pain. I understand definitely. What I was disappointed in is that his corner and his team, his trainer, Triple D himself, didn't know how to avoid the jab. Didn't know how to slip it. Didn't know how to counter it effectively. Didn't know how to use the footwork to avoid that head movement, et cetera, to stay away from that jab. That's what disappointed me. That's what disappointed me. Definitely, man. But you're right, JC. You're definitely right, bro. Black Banter says, and a very slow. Yeah, that's what disappointed me about this. How? And that when I called this fight, I was calling it on my channel. I went live. I said Joyce's speed hasn't improved. Slow jab. I was saying that. I was saying, this jab is slow. It's awkward, and he's landing these slow jabs. My gosh. Yeah, Laws D. Oh, I didn't know that. Laws D said the ball was suspect. Wow. I didn't know that, man. I didn't read it. I had my hopes high for Dan the ball, but got to go back to the drawing board, man. Joyce says he wants Usyk. I said, yeah, J.A., and I laugh out loud for that one too. It would be funny to watch. It would just be fun. It would just be kind of a funny thing to see. I mean, I don't see those guys. To me, they're not top notch. They're definitely not top notch. That's why I totally disagree with the sanctioning bodies. Foolish. How the heck you have Usyk number 2 and that's just foolish. Whatever. But yeah, that would be funny to watch. I would laugh. They're both super slow. So, oh my gosh, it would be fun. It would be cool to watch. But I wouldn't be excited at all about it. I've got Rommel Lane. I would even call it. Let me get back to that. I would go live and call it. As you guys know, I mean, some people know, I've been going live and calling fights specifically for the zone fights or UK fights in Europe or whatever, right? And that side because they come on earlier and it's easier for my times. Say my times down here in Mexico and the times over there when they go live, the main event, perfect timing for me to call a fight on Saturday. So I would call it. I would like to call it. I would have fun. Rommel Lane says here, Joyce. One moment, guys. Yeah, Rommel Lane says here, Joyce punches in slow motion. I can't figure out how he could. I know, Rommel, but this is what I was saying earlier. The thing here is that Joyce was timing it. You see what I'm saying? He timed it. Even though his jab was weird, kind of like, I don't know how to describe Joyce's jab. It's kind of weird, bro. I don't know. Joyce, when he throws hooks, they're like slap hooks. They're too wide. How can you not read that stuff? That's what I'm saying. Joyce shouldn't even consider. Names shouldn't even be mentioned for Joyce when you talk about the top 5. Don't even mention those names. I don't know what the heck. I gotta go back to what I was saying a moment ago. I don't even what the heck people are thinking when they're talking about the top 5 names against to fight Joyce. And I'm not considering Usyk one of those top 5. I'm not considering Usyk as a top 5. It's the other names I was talking about. You know, and those you can, man, these top 5 guys, and I'm not mentioning Usyk, these top 5 guys can easily read those wide hooks, slap hooks, super slow jab. I mean, come on, man. That's why, oh my gosh. You're right, Ron. I don't know. I mean, but the timing, it was the timing. Joyce was easy. He could easily read Daniel Dubois' amateur, novice, lack of defense. I mean, it is what it is. Timing beats speed. Hats off to Joyce. Nothing to say about that. Hats off to Joyce. I mean, definitely, bro, definitely. We got Briscoe saying here, Kaneki has signed for a rematch with Robert Helenius. Big mistake. Oh, I didn't know that. Did they fight already? I didn't even know that, man. Those names, I didn't see those guys. I didn't see the first fight. I think I saw some of it, but I didn't see it all. Are they going to fight again? Yeah, I think they're going to fight soon, right? I don't remember what. Can you give me the date? Can you give me the date, please? Because I really want to see that one. Like Price did with Thompson and got KO'd for the second time. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, so we're rematching. When is that fight, bro? Please let me know. Please let me know. Big LeVar Cooper is in the building. Yeah, like I said, LeVar, you know, earlier that I went on, or I go on early now because, you know, my daylight savings times in Mexico is very, very different from you guys. So, I mean, when I go live, when I do this flash live, it's very early for you guys, I think. So yeah, thanks so much, LeVar, for jumping in. LeVar, big support always, all day, man. JC, my IG, check it out in my description right here of the video. Check the description out. And on my other videos, I put them in the description. I think it's Renee Jr. Or just go to Renee, just put Renee Box Young. I try to make it as simple as possible to find me. So yeah, and on Twitter also. So I think it's Renee Box Young. Just go on the Instagram and put Renee Box Young or Renee_Jr. something like that. Yeah, it's in the description. Check it out there. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Just wait a second, you guys. Let me throw this out there for JC and you guys. If anybody's not following me on Instagram, hold on. Let me find it. Let me go just real fast. Let me go to my profile and there it is. Yeah. Here you go, guys. This is just in case you guys know. Anybody's not following me, you can follow me there. I got some nice treats there on Instagram for you guys. Different stuff I post up there. So yeah, there it is, JC. I just posted it there in the chat. Yeah, people saluting here. Let me go back to the chat here. We got the D Hodge saying, shaking my head. I wish. I betted Joyce or Tio. I have good bread. Oh man, seriously, Hodges? Seriously? Wow. Man, hats off to you. Hats off to you, bro. That's why I love you guys. Keep commenting away when it comes to potential fights. Comment here in the comment section so I can learn from you guys. And I have been learning a lot from you guys. So keep doing it, man. Wow. So you bet Joyce or Tio. Wow. Good stuff right there, man. So is Triple D in the same boat as Kell Brooks? That's what a lot of people are saying, bro. I mean, that's one of the questions I have in my mind. That's one of the questions I have in my mind, JC, that I don't know. That's the big question I have in my mind, Triple D. Now I'm not too convinced by Triple D anymore. I mean, but a loss doesn't define him. But please listen, guys. The way Daniel Dubois lost, it doesn't define him, but there's a big question lingering over my head about Triple D now. A big question. Because the way he lost, I mean, that's the way he lost. That's a big question in my mind. And that's a big opportunity, a big potential opportunity for Triple D's future opponents. They're going to be eyeing the eye. No pun intended. They're going to be eyeballing his eye. And they're going to be eyeballing that he took a knee. That speaks volumes, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine Triple D going against the FA Jogba. Imagine Triple D going, he can't, I don't even think he can beat an FA Jogba, you guys. We're talking about Triple D, not Joe Joyce now. I don't think Triple D can face an FA Jogba. FA Jogba, now I know, I've even criticized him. I know FA Jogba's last fight was bad. It was a bad performance. Not a good performance at all. But I think FA Jogba can beat Dan Dubois. Because of Triple D, the way he lost and how he lost. It's like, nah, man. All Zephyr Jabba with that amazing reach and height, man, he can beat Dan Dubois with a great jab he can use. He can be using a jab, work more on the jab. If it Jogba, I mean, he could beat Triple D, I think. It would be an interesting fight, though. But, yep. Yeah. He punches slow, but as we saw, that foam pole jab. Yeah, bro. And the timing. Yeah, foam pole jab, exactly. Boom. But then again, Triple D was landing some nice jabs too. But it is like I said, I think Triple D was winning. I think Dubois was winning before he took the knee. I gave a couple rounds to Joyce though, but I think Dan Dubois, if he was winning, if it was slightly winning, he was winning because he was throwing some beautiful 1-2s on the inside constantly. Power shots, clean shots. Throughout the fight. I had Triple D, if he was winning, slightly winning at least. But yeah, bro, you're definitely right, man. That foam pole jab looked like it hurt. Constantly was nice landing. No effective high guard. Exactly. Daniel Dubois needs to work on that high guard, man. I mean, some way or another, at least use your high guard, Daniel Dubois. If you're not slipping, use the high guard. Catch the jab with your right glove, bro, and counter with a hook on the inside. Bam, upstairs, and get out the way. Use your footwork, get out the way. 1-2 to the body. Catch the jab with your high guard and 1-2, bop, bop to the body, hard power punches, and get out the way. You know what I'm saying? So rematch early 21. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Kyle Mackey and okay, nice. Early 21. Awesome. I definitely want to see that, Lord willing. So hey guys, check it out. You already know. And Lord willing, on Friday, I'm gonna do as I'm routinely doing now in fights. I'm gonna do final thoughts on Spence versus Danny Garcia. Final thoughts on Spence versus Danny Garcia. Okay. So thanks so much, JC. Thanks so much, JC. Awesome. So yeah, Spence versus fight week. Awesome stuff right here. So I'm gonna get going, man. I just wanted to mainly focus on Nikita, White Chocolate, and Joyce. Hats off to the winners, man. And it is what it is, man. I was definitely not impressed by Daniel Jacobs and Rosado. Hats off to them, though. That was just I don't know about that fight, man. But yeah, y'all saw Tyson and Roy. I wasn't really, it was interesting, but it is what it is. Hats off to the legends. But I mainly want to focus on this live on White Chocolate, Nikita, Prospect, middleweight division, and Joyce. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. I gotta get going, man. I've been on here for more than an hour. Thank you guys so much for jumping in the building, man. I appreciate each and every one of you, man. And I'm gonna be pushing out content. You already know, man. Daily, mostly at least daily. I try to at least, right? But constantly be pushing out content on this channel, man. Stay tuned, man. Definitely stay safe out there, man. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. New subscribers who have been with me since day one. Also, all you guys. Love it. Love hearing from you guys, man. So salute from the South, man. Renee Box Young. Until the next one. Peace out. Stay safe, family. Thank you guys so much.